Hello. If you're watching this, you're getting ready to view a student example of the professional presentation analysis. We're going to briefly go over some of the best practices for this particular assignment and how it is that you can best analyze the TED Talks that you're getting ready to watch. So let's get into it. All right. So as you see here, we have a TED Talk analysis that we're going to briefly go over just so you have an idea of what makes for a really awesome TED Talk analysis assignment. So right off the bat, they start off with images. The more images that you include within your assignment, the better. It helps to better support some of the main things that you're talking about. So you want to use images to really help build up your analysis and to really support some of your main points. So they start off with an image, which is awesome. Then they get into their analysis. So they give us the name or the title of the TED Talk that they watched, as well as the link to where we as the instructor could watch it if our interest is piqued. And so you always want to make sure that you're providing that for your instructor. So give them the name of the TED Talk as well as the link to where they can find it. Once again, they give another image that helps support some of the things that they're saying, so good use there. And then they really get into the analysis portion of this particular assignment. And the purpose of this assignment is to really allow you to absorb as an audience member what makes good presentations, what makes presentations tick, and what helps them to connect, what helps a presenter to connect with their audience. And so throughout this assignment, that's what we're really looking for you to get into the depths of what makes a presentation tick. And this is exactly what the student does. They talk about different things that the audience does, that the presenter does that connects them with their audience. For example, they talk about giving relatable examples, making the subject matter emotionally light and enjoyable. They get into how it lacked visuals, but this helped this particular presenter because it seemed like the presentation was more of a conversation. So you can see that they're really getting into the essence of what makes for a good presentation. They're not focusing on what the presentation was about per se, but they're really getting into what the presenter does that helps them to establish credibility with their audience and to establish an emotional connection with their audience. So you want to make sure that you're giving tons and tons of examples to support some of the things that you're saying. So as you're working your way through this assignment, you're giving a really good overview of what the presenter did that helped them connect with their audience, and you're also giving tons of rich, awesome, deep detail that supports the things that you're saying. So they move through and they continue to talk about the essence of the TED Talk, talk about laughter and being entertained and all of those things. So it's really good analysis here of what's making this presentation effective. Then they move into the next. They move into the next presentation. They give the title, the link, an image, and they dive into once again what makes this presentation moving to them, how the presenter is connecting with their audience. So we'll move through this because it's more of the same, more really awesome and deep analysis of what the presenter is doing to connect with their audience. And let's move down to the 10 qualities, which is one of the main parts of this assignment. So the analysis is one substantial part, the inclusion of images is another substantial part, and then probably the last most substantial part of this particular assignment is your 10 qualities. So let's take a quick look at how best to build your 10 qualities. And I would start off by saying that the best way to build these top 10 qualities is to clearly number them. When you clearly number them, it shows your instructor that you have a very clear quality that you're trying to outline, and then you can give some specifics as to what you saw within the TED Talks that brought you to that conclusion that that particular quality was important. So as you can see, they clearly number each of them, and then they give a little brief synopsis about what they saw within the TED Talks that made them believe that this was important, and they give some detail, and they're constantly making references back to the TED Talks that they watched. The only thing that I think this student could have improved upon is including some specific details within their 10 qualities that shows specifically what the presenter did that showed that quality. So instead of just giving us the TED Talk that they saw that showed this quality, they could have gone a little bit further, taking just one more step towards detail to really fill out the 10 qualities. And for example, tell us about a specific joke that was used within the TED Talk that really made you laugh, or tell us about a specific time where using posture helped to get the presenter's main ideas across. All right, and then the last thing that the student could have done to improve upon this particular assignment is they don't have a list of where they got their images from. So remember that each of your instructors were always looking for citations as to where you found the images that you're using, so that way we can give proper credit where credit is due. That's just a really brief synopsis of some of the best practices for this assignment. But if you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out to your instructors for any clarification. And I hope that you've enjoyed this video.